Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to differentiate 8 examples with respect to x. So let us start with the first one. Differentiate with respect to x, cube root of x square. Now the first step would be to change this radical power into a fractional power. So for that let us write x square as it is. Now the cube root power could be written as a fractional power, that is 1 over 3. Now using the laws of indices, the powers will multiply each other. So we are going to write it as x to the power of 2 over 3. Now we are going to differentiate x to the power of 2 over 3 with respect to x using the power rule. Now in this video I have explained 8 formulas including power, product, quotient and chain rule. So you can check out this video. Now coming back to this, so here we are going to write differentiation of x to the power of 2 over 3 with respect to x using the power rule is, now here the power comes out, so we are going to write it as 2 over 3 and this multiplies with x and the power of x is reduced by 1, so we write it as 2 over 3 minus 1, that is by using this formula. Now let us simplify this further. We are going to write it as 2 over 3 times x to the power of, now 2 over 3 minus 1 gives us minus 1 over 3. Now we are going to change this negative power into a positive power. So we are going to reciprocate it using the laws of indices. So we get 2 over 3 times 1 over x to the power of, now the negative power changes to positive power, x to the power of 1 over 3. Now one last step is to convert this fractional power into a radical power. So here we are going to write 2 over 3 times 1 over x to the power of 1 over 3 is cube root of x in radical form. So this is the differentiation of cube root of x square. Differentiate with respect to x, x to the power of 5 times x to the power of 3. Now using the laws of indices, the bases are same, so we can add the powers. So we can write it as x to the power of 5 plus 3 is 8. Now let us differentiate x to the power of 8 with respect to x. So using the power rule, we are going to write 8 here first, multiplied with x to the power of 8 minus 1, which is 7. So the differentiation of x to the power of 5 times x to the power of 3 is 8 times x to the power of 7. Differentiate f of x equal to 2 over 5 x square with respect to x. Now let me first rearrange this given equation. So I can write it as f of x is equal to, now I'm separating the numbers, that is 2 over 5 and I'm separating the x term, so I can write it as 1 over x square. Now the next step is I'm going to take x on the numerator, so it becomes 2 over 5 times x to the power of negative 2. So if you reciprocate it, the sign of the power changes. Now I'm going to differentiate f of x. So here I'm going to write f dash of x, that is differentiation of f of x with respect to x is equal to 2 over 5 is a constant, it remains same, and using the power rule I'm going to differentiate x to the power of negative 2. So the power comes out first and multiplies with 2 over 5, so it becomes minus 2 times x to the power of minus 2 minus 1 because the power reduces by 1. Now let us further simplify this. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 over 5 times x to the power of, we get it as negative 3. Now let us again change this negative power into a positive power. So we are going to write it as negative 4 over 5 times 1 over x to the power of 3. So we again reciprocated it. So you can see the sign of the power has changed. Negative power has become positive power. So this is the differentiation of f of x. Now f of x is equal to 4 times x times square root of x over 3x cube. Now here my first step will again be the separation of the constant terms and the x terms. So I'm going to write here 4 over 3 times x times square root of x over x to the power of 3. So I have separated the constant terms and the x terms. Now I'm going to take this x cube to the numerator. So here I'm going to write 4 over 3 times x times, at the same time I'm going to change this radical power into a fractional power. So I'm going to write it as x to the power of 1 over 2. Square root has changed to 1 over 2. times taking x cube up, x to the power of -3. Now using laws of indices, we can see that the bases are same, x, x and x, and there is a multiplication between the terms. So I can just add the powers together. So here I'm going to simplify as 4 over 3 times x. Now the powers will get added. So 1 plus 1 over 2 minus 3. Now simplifying these powers, we are going to write it as 4 over 3 times x to the power of, the addition of 1 plus 1 over 2 minus 3 gives us minus 3 over 2. Next is differentiation of this term, because this is our f of x. So remember, the first step is always the simplification. Get all the x terms as a single x term so that it becomes easy for differentiation. So here let us begin with the differentiation. So again I'm going to use the power rule over here. So f dash of x is equal to 4 over 3. Now bringing the power down using the power rule, minus 3 over 2 comes down, times x to the power of minus 3 over 2. Now the power reduces by 1, that is minus 1. So simplifying this, 3 and 3 divides each other and 2 and 4 divides each other. So we are going to simplify this constant term first. So we get it as -2 times x to the power of -5 over 2. So when you add these two numbers, you get it as minus 5 over 2. Next, further simplification, since we got a negative power, we are going to write it as -2 times 1 over x to the power of positive 5 over 2. Or we can write it as minus 2 times 1 over, since this is a fractional power and in the denominator you have 2, it becomes square root of x to the power of 5. Now here let us simplify this square root of x to the power of 5. So we are going to write it as -2 times 1 over. Now let us write the square root, and x to the power of 5 is nothing but x is multiplied 5 times with itself. So x times x times x times x. Now since this is a square root, we are going to take a pair of x together and bring it out of the square root. So we are going to write here -2 times 1 over. Now a pair of x comes out of the square root and we are going to write it as x times. Now the second pair comes out of the square root as a single term. So we are going to write it as again x. And this x does not have a pair, so it is inside the square root. So here we are going to write it as -2 times 1 over x square, because x times x is x square, square root of x. So this is the most simplified form of the differentiation. Differentiate with respect to x. Y is equal to 8 minus 2x plus 6x cube. Now the differentiation of y, we are going to write it as y dash is equal to differentiation of a constant like 8 is 0. Differentiation of minus 2x gives us -2. Now using the power rule, here for the third term we are going to write it as plus 6 times. The power comes down and multiplies with 6, and the power of x is reduced by 1. So we get 3 minus 1, which is 2. So simplifying this, we get -2, and 6, 3 gives us 18. So -2 plus 18 x square. This is the differentiation of y. Differentiate with respect to x. Y is equal to x minus 3 times x plus 4. Now there are two methods to differentiate this. One is the expansion of the bracket and then using the basic rules of differentiation like power rule, or by using the product rule, that is UV formula. So here I'm going to use the first method, that is expansion of the brackets. So let me write here y is equal to x times x is x square, x times 4 is 4x, minus 3 times x is minus 3x, and minus 3 times plus 4 is minus 12. So simplifying this, we get y is equal to x square, and plus 4x minus 3x gives us plus x minus 12. Now once we have got this, we are going to make use of basic differentiation formulas. So y dash is equal to, using the power rule, we have here 2 times x, and the differentiation of x is 1, and the differentiation of a constant is 0. So we are going to get here y dash is equal to 2x plus 1. differentiate with respect to x, y is equal to 4x square minus 6 the whole square. Now for this question as well, there are two methods. One is by expansion of this bracket and the second one is by using the chain rule. So here the easiest method is by using the chain rule. So let me explain the steps first. So we have three steps in the chain rule. First is differentiate the outside. That is, take this entire term as a single term, and using the power rule for this case, we are going to differentiate it. Then we are going to differentiate the inside, that is the terms which are inside the brackets. We are going to differentiate them next. And then we are going to multiply whatever we got here in the first step and whatever we got in the second step to get the final answer. That would be our third step. So let us now start with the step 1. So we have to differentiate this entire thing as a single term. So here we are going to write y dash is equal to, now the power comes out since we are using the power rule. So 2 comes out and it multiplies with the entire bracket, 4x square minus 6. Now the power reduces by 1, so 2 minus 1 is 1. Then we are going to differentiate the inside. That is, we are going to differentiate the terms which are inside the bracket. So here, using the power rule, 2 multiplies with 4, so we have 8 times x. Now the power of x reduces by 1, so we get it as 1. Minus 6, that is differentiation of a constant, is 0. So these two terms we have to multiply. This would be our third step. So let us further simplify this. So we are going to get it as 2 times 4x square minus 6 times 8x. Now multiplying the numbers together, that is 2 times 8 is 16. So we have here 16x outside the bracket, and inside the bracket is 4 times x square minus 6. So this is the differentiation answer for the given equation. Differentiate with respect to x, y is equal to 2x minus 5 over x to the power of 3. Now for this last one, we are going to split the numerators and assign each numerator with the denominator. So here we can write 2x over x cube minus 5 over x cube. So we have split the terms and you can see the denominators are same. Now once we have done this, let us take x cube on the numerator. So we have here 2 times x to the power of negative 3 minus 5 times x to the power of negative 3. Now here we are going to write 2 times. Now using the laws of indices, the powers will add up together. So we get x to the power of negative 2, that is 1 plus minus 3 gives you minus 2, minus 5 x to the power of negative 3. So this is your y. Now we have to differentiate it. So we are going to write it as y dash is equal to, using the power rule, we are going to write 2 times, the power comes down, minus 2, and x to the power of minus 2, minus 1, as the power reduces by 1, minus 5 times. Now again using the power rule, the power comes down, multiplies with negative 3, times x to the power of negative 3, negative 1. Now further simplifying this, 2 times negative 2 gives you negative 4, times x to the power of negative 3, minus of minus gives you plus, so 5 times 3 is 15, times x to the power of negative 4. Now changing the negative powers to positive powers, we are going to write it as negative 4 times 1 over x to the power of 3 plus 15 times 1 over x to the power of 4. So this is the differentiation of the given equation. I hope you have understood all the steps and liked the video. And if you found this video useful, then check out this playlist where you'll find more examples on differentiation. And if you're liking my videos, like, share and subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching.